MAGA has died. Here, please.
It crosses party lines. It crosses, as a matter of fact, it crosses all the lines. When it comes down to victimizing some of the most innocent people in America, these were young girls that were teenagers that desperately wanted to be models one day. They wanted to be seen as beautiful. They wanted to be rich. They wanted to be famous. And of course, every teenager wants things like that. And they were victimized by Ghislaine Maxwell and others. And they were victimized by the richest, most powerful men, not only in our country, but in the world. And they were used by Jeffrey Epstein as sexual tools for his own satisfaction and his friends' satisfaction. To actually be asked by the President of the United States to back off and not help these women, that's when MAGA died.
Watch what Majorie Taylor Green says here.
So, wow. When we started talking about releasing the Epstein files, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. President Trump will just roll them out on a big cart himself. Stacks and stacks and stacks of the Epstein files, because obviously Bill Clinton is all in there and Hillary Clinton. That's what I had been told all along, right? Well, it was the most shocking thing when I sat in a conference meeting and I learned that the president didn't want to release the Epstein files. I was like, what? Yeah, come to find out, he was very much against it. So we kept on trying and kept on talking about it. And then the president told Mike Johnson, no, do not bring that resolution to the floor for a vote. He told the Rules Committee, and Johnson told the Rules Committee, no, you will not mark up any bill in the Rules Committee that will allow the Epstein files to be released. And the resistance built and built and built. He told Pam Bondi, don't release the Epstein files. He told everybody, don't release the Epstein files. So we persisted. Because that's what we promised. That's what we campaigned on. Transparency and accountability, especially to pedophiles. How is that complicated? So it got to be such a gigantic amount of resistance coming from the president and the speaker and everyone, the DOJ. I said, fine, I'll do the unthinkable. I'll go over there and I'll sign my name on a discharge petition that all the Democrats are signing their name on. Talk about crossing the aisle. Me, a general in the MAGA army, crossing over to sign my name with a bunch of Democrats. Yeah, I did. Because women were raped when they were 16 and 14 years old. And he was a convicted pedophile, and we knew there were many with him. So I signed my name on the discharge petition. Oh, did I get my name on the naughty list then? Let me tell you.
This crowd that doesn't have Democrats in it.
Well, I'll never forget it. I was in my office in the Rayburn building, and I got a phone call from the president. And he was at the White House, and he wanted to talk to me about the discharge petition that I'd signed my name on. And he said, Marjorie, you're going to have to take your name off that discharge petition. We can't let, this is a hoax. We can't carry this. This is a hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. And we've got to just put this away and stop doing this. And he said, my friends are going to get hurt. He said his friends would get hurt if we released the Epstein files. He said, Marjorie, these are good people. These are people you know at Mar-a-Lago. People in Palm Beach, they're going to get hurt by this. And I said, Mr. President, people have been hurt. These women have been hurt. I said, have you talked to them? I said, you should talk to them. You should have them in the Oval Office, Mr. President. You have everybody in the Oval Office. You have sports teams. You have world leaders. You have Al-Qaeda terrorists that are now leading Syria. You have Mamdani. I mean, you have everybody in the Oval Office. Surely you can have these women who were raped as teenagers. Talk to them. I talk to them all the time. As a matter of fact, many of them voted for you. That's what I told them. They voted for you. Epstein victims voted for Donald Trump. And he wouldn't have anything to do with them. And he told me his friends would get hurt. And I said, not taking my name off the discharge petition. Thank you.
She goes, I was like the lead MAGA general. She goes, I'd be the person who would go around with Donald Trump talking about all of these policies. I was the person.
When you talk about someone that fought on the front lines of MAGA, I wasn't just a fighter. I was a general. I spoke all over the country for President Trump. I stood on rally stage after rally stage. As a matter of fact, I spoke at Lindsey Graham's home county. I spoke just before Lindsey Graham.
Then she talks about how there's this whole industry that developed around Donald Trump, this MAGA cottage industry of grifters who follow Trump around and sell the Trump Bibles and the Trump shirts. And then she goes, you know who killed, though, all of that? Donald Trump.
Make America Great Again was such a dream for so many Americans, and it was sold for years and years, and an industry was created around it, an entire political industry and an economic. It's an entire economy. At rallies, there's companies that sell T-shirts and hats. These little businesses, these small business owners follow Donald Trump all over the country and sell their goods to all the MAGA faithful that go to the rallies. There's also companies online that sell all types of Trump gear, MAGA, you name it, coffee mugs, hats, T-shirts, pajamas. I mean, maybe some of you in this room have some of that stuff. You've probably thrown it out by now if you did, but it was available to buy in every way. There's Trump Bibles, there's Trump watches. I don't know. There's Trump everything. But think about that, an entire industry created on MAGA. But I watched it die because when you're a member of Congress, we have a unique view that the American people don't have. It's like riding a roller coaster. You know, when you ride a roller coaster and if you're in the front car, you are strapped in and you have the front row seat of everything that's coming on the roller coaster ride. When you're climbing up the hill and you're climbing slowly up the hill, you can see when you're getting to the top, but the people behind you, they can't see it yet. Well, that's how I felt being a member of Congress, being such an integral piece of MAGA, being personal friends with the president, personal friends with the administration, and personal friends with all of the people that got us there. So as a member of Congress, I had a front row view of the bills and the president's support of the bills and the policies that actually destroyed MAGA.
And she goes on and says it again. Trump was the one who destroyed you. Trump killed it. Play this clip.
You see, MAGA went from being words and promises, but when it came time to put it into real action, the actions is what killed it. And do you want to know who took the actions to kill MAGA? It was the creator and the founder himself, Donald Trump. How did it happen? It started with the back door to a central bank digital currency. And then when we campaigned on lowering inflation and reducing gas prices and caring about domestic issues that matter to Americans, the White House front door became a revolving door to foreign leaders, not to Americans and not to industry leaders and those involved in working on the domestic solutions that Americans needed. No, it became a place of foreign policy. The next thing that happened was bombing Iran. I openly and spoke publicly against it. And that's when strike two happened for me. The president was mad at me. How dare I criticize him? After all, he wants the Nobel Peace Prize and he wants it by bombing Iran. How can I point out that hypocrisy, Marjorie? No. Don't criticize the president. Don't be a panikin. Trust Trump, right? Well, I spoke out, but there were others that spoke out. Charlie Kirk spoke out, and he spoke out quite bravely. Tucker Carlson spoke out bravely, and others, few others, not many of us, but a few. Well, then the 12-day war was finished and they got to come out and do their victory rounds on Fox News and say how, oh, see, it didn't turn into a forever war. Oh, look, We bombed them and we wiped out their entire nuclear capabilities. We wiped out all their military capabilities. It's over. And that's why Donald Trump should have the Nobel Peace Prize. My goodness, it was so silly. Well, as this was going on, I was watching spending bill and CR and all this disgusting things that happen in the House of Representatives. No real change. In Congress, I would co-sponsor the balanced budget resolution, and I would co-sponsor all the conservative bills. Then magically, guess what? No matter who is Speaker of the House, those bills never come to the floor for a vote. Well, talking about another resolution that got blocked more than any other resolution I've ever seen, it was to release the Epstein files.
And then she talked about how because Donald Trump said that she was disloyal to him, then she said, so I went to Donald and I said, hey, can you tone it down? My son's getting death threats. And she goes, Donald Trump told me, yeah, I know. He deserves it. Hear it from the words of Majorie Taylor Green, the lead MAGA general. Here.
I got a Truth Social dropped on my head like a nuclear bomb where the president called me a traitor. And I read that and I thought, a traitor? Oh my gosh. He's saying I was a traitor to him. To him. And that's why I was a traitor to him. And that's why he was going to support a primary against me, just like he's doing to Thomas Massie, which is horrific. And I looked at that and I thought to myself, this is a badge of honor. It truly is. And I thought, this is so unbelievable to me. But here's what happened after that. Not a single Republican defended me. Not one that I served with. Think about that. But I was a traitor doing what we promised to do. I was the traitor. But no one defended me, not one person. And I said, oh my goodness, how can I continue to serve under this president and serve in a body of Congress where not a single person is willing to say, Mr. President, Marjorie's not a traitor. She helped you get elected. Then guess what happened? I started getting death threats. And it was about me being called a traitor. It was, you're a traitor. You deserve to die. You're a traitor. We're going to kill you. You're a traitor. But it was the one that came in and they kept coming on my son, my youngest, my baby boy. We're going to snuff out his life. We're going to put a bullet in his head. Majorie Taylor Green. So I sent those to the president, texted him directly. I also sent them to Susie Wiles and James Blair. And I also sent them to the Vice President, J.D. Vance, Kash Patel. I sent them to all these people. I got no response from Susie Wiles. I got no response from James Blair because he only cares about making money on campaigns. I did hear from Kash Patel. He said on it, but I haven't heard from him since. I don't know what he's on. J.D. Vance was very nice to me, compassionate and kind. And then I heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these text messages. I'd probably get put in jail if I released them publicly, but I saved them. Where Donald Trump proceeded to tell me that it was my fault and that I deserve it. If my son gets killed, I deserve it because I was a traitor to him. That is our President of the United States. That's the man that says MAGA is whatever he wants it to be.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think.